So we've got to move fields today. So it's Sunday today, and you might be able to hear the sound of the church bells because it's Sunday morning, and we're not that far from the church. We're actually just in this field here that we call Town Head, and we decided not to make the hay in this field just because we weren't sure that we needed to make hay. We didn't need that much hay this year, and we thought rather than engaging in the cost of making hay that we didn't necessarily need, we were going to leave it. It's got a much less of a crop than some of the other land that we have, so we thought perhaps it might do the field good to actually rest from haymaking for a year. So as a result, it hasn't been grazed since probably February. And so yesterday we decided we needed somewhere to put the highlands, and this was the most obvious spot. So we moved them into here yesterday. You might be able to see them in the background. And we're just kind of walking around the field. Nick's here with his tools, and we're going to electric fence the field and knock some posts in. So we've got the post knocker on, and just basically make it so that we feel that it's secure, particularly for the calves, because the calves tend to be smaller, they get into smaller gaps, and we've got neighbouring cows next door as well. So that's our Sunday. First, I'm going to show you how we got the cows moved. So we've got to move fields today. So we've got to go out of here and across the farmyard and up over there. So let's see how it goes. I was under the impression that the cows would come out the field pretty easily, but I was wrong. They decided they had other ideas, and we only had Nick and I, and my mum was just standing on the lane, so it just meant that it was a little bit trickier with just two of us, as evident here with my dodgy filming. But we've used this trick in the past of using the electric tape, so electric fence tape. The cows are going to avoid that, but the calves don't know to avoid it, so the calves don't respect it. They just go straight under the wire, and then the cows don't want to leave the calves, so we end up in a bit of a situation. So we focused on trying to get the cows out of the field by closing in on them using the electric tape, and you just need a bit of patience, but that method does seem to work for us. Sometimes the cows just need a bit of time to get into their pecking order. And then the calves just stood there. We were hoping the calves would follow. So we had to make sure the cows didn't come out the field. So we sort of stood across the gateway so the cows wouldn't come out. And then my job was to try and coax the calves under the wire to go back to their mothers. But they tended to behave in a bit of an unpredictable way. So we had to do a few laps round. And with all these things, you have to be patient and just hope that a little bit of luck goes your way, I think. So this was only step one, to get them out of this field. And then across the lane, through the farmyard, up the back of another field, and then down and across. And we'd actually set up a corridor of electric fence tape. We have to cross our neighbour's field, so we set up the tape up, so hopefully it would create this corridor that the cows would go through. So that is where we are currently heading, walking down towards the campsite now. And the cows haven't actually been in this field, I don't think, before, so I don't blame them for not really knowing where they were going. By this point we were almost there, so we've just got to cross this corridor, which is our neighbour's field with some nice tempting looking grass in it, and then our field is beyond. So the cows were a little bit nervous about walking through the corridor, but as you can see, the cows went along quite nicely, but the calves, they were all over the place. And then we've got Edwin, who is a calf from last year, the one that ended up escaped and quite far from home, who's been with these cows. He ended up the wrong side of the tape, and He was the last to give me a bit of a run around. I actually had to stop filming at one point because they tried to climb the wall to get over into the field with their mothers. And so I had to climb the wall myself and encourage them not to go that way. The cars went under the wire, but Edwin was too tall to go under the wire. So there's my mum trying to lift the wire. So we had one last race around the field before managing to get Edwin in with the others and going in the right direction. Thank goodness. To you as well. So that brings us to the next day, which is now that you're seeing, and the first job really is to get the electric fence in, and we're going to knock some posts in so that it can just be sturdy to have some good corner posts to run the electric fence off, because we have got neighbouring cows which are, you know, a bit of a concern, even though we don't have a bull at the moment. We just don't want cows getting mixed up. So last October, a year ago, we actually did this whole entire stretch of fence line, and it hasn't really been grazed that much. So it will be good to actually use this field, and I think this winter just do a bit more on the fencing.
Put this fence in last year, just one stretch, one side of the field. I put an electric strand in there, so we can electrify this bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the fence to here, tie it into this electric, all the way around the rest of the field, and hopefully that should secure them. Probably get that post out of the way.
So we've got the Highlands fenced in. The cows have currently got half of this field, and so we've still got a few more corner posts to put in. So we're now in the top corner, which is right near to our friends' buildings and land. And then we're also working on putting a post in for the new gateway, because this has got a really, really poor gateway, really knackered gate, an old gate, very broken. So we're in the process of upgrading that, and later in the video I'm also going to show you another gateway which we've upgraded this year, and that is finished now. So hopefully you'll see what our plans are for gateways and how to improve them. But here we are just tapping in a post. We decided not to use a rock spike because we couldn't get the rock spike in the location right in the corner, but it actually went in fine just using the post knocker. So we were quite relieved and pleased about that, because it's as tight into that stone post as we can. The stone post just isn't really the right height. It's not really big enough, high enough to hang the gate, or at least that's what Nick says. Gone in quite a lot. So it's Monday the 7th of October today, and we had some rain this morning, which actually turned into a lovely day as they predicted. So we are just out doing a job that we haven't done for a while, and that is moling, mole catching, laying mole traps, pest control, whatever you want to call it. So we're going around this particular field, which is where the lambs are, and we've put in 3 traps so far. And we just come to another bit, and the reason why we do this is because moles make a mess of your land. 1 or 2 mole hills is fine, but they can really go to town and ruin your land, and it causes all kind of problems. So we're doing it to look after the land that we have, and yeah, it's a nice sunny day, so I think we're sort of enjoying it, getting back into it, and also just having a bit of a tidy up around the field. So picking up some stones and some old rotten bits of wood here and there that have just been lying around, but it's a glorious October day, so we just need more of these. This is one of the bottle fed lambs. She was called Quad because she was the smallest of the 4, and she really didn't drink off the ewe, I don't think. So she was bottle fed, and she's just come over to investigate what's going on here. And she's realised there's no food involved. We've had a little cuddle. Now we get to admire Nick's legs. So one of the things that we've done this year is improved a few more gateways, and Andy has rebuilt this whole section of wall here, which has just been finished, which is why I'm showing it you now, and it's looking really nice because it ties in to this stretch. And then we have, or Nick mainly has put this gateway in. This gateway used to be narrower and it didn't open. It was pretty much one that we never really used, whereas now we've got it in, and it's an actual opening swinging gate, which is definitely, or it was, a complete rarity around here at the farm. But we have year on year tried to improve gates, make them usable, make them wider, and it makes it a lot easier for moving around with machinery and livestock. So pretty happy with that. Andy's wall looks really good, and we've got some stone to move and just sort of work out where the next area is going to be. But it's sort of sunrise time of day now, so it's 7:30, and you can just see something's happening in the sky over there. But it's a bit of a gloomy old morning, and just checking around everything, but it is nice and calm. This one here is one to do. We've got the gate in place. This used to be a really bad gate, so we've got a new gate, but we just need to put a new post in. That one is rotten, knackered. So that's another job. It's getting to that time of year now where the pressure slightly is off at the moment. With the campsite, certainly things are winding down. We're closing in a month for November and December, reopen for New Year, and yeah, it's when we can choose some jobs to sort of make improvements around the farm, and while the weather's not too bad, the fields are not too wet yet, it's a perfect time to be getting on with it. Morning. So I'm going to let them into this field here. No, don't go over the wall. The sheep have got quite into the habit of receiving apples, so that's what this is all about. They see me, they know what's coming. A few little apples, but yeah, don't climb on the wall because that's why they fall down. One of the reasons. So I'm going to finish the video there and say thank you for watching, coming along with us, and I'm sure I'll be bringing you another update soon. And until next time, I look forward to reading your comments.